Okay then, welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Tuesday, August 10th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. Many of the stories right here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryTV.com, and here are the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The first New Mexico State Tribal Collaboration and Capacity Building Conference was a tremendous success according to tribal leaders, cabinet secretaries, and state legislators who attended the conference on July 29th at the Pueblo of Pojokwa's Buffalo Thunder Casino and Resort. The attendance by over 150 individuals, including tribal leaders from all 22 tribes, 10 cabinet secretaries and deputy secretaries, and 5 legislators, and presentations by over 40 experts from the public, private, and nonprofit sectors demonstrate the commitment that exists to forging stronger partnerships between state and tribal governments, according to New Mexico Cabinet Secretary of Indian Affairs, Alvin Warren. The conference, funded by the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, was held in response to requests by tribal leaders and staff to provide them with the necessary training and tools to be able to have better access to state government, budgeting needs, and program priorities on behalf of their pueblos, tribes, and nations. The conference focused on 5 key areas: working with state government executive agencies, including the Indian Affairs Department, using the legislative process to achieve tribal priorities, learning best practices in improving tribal infrastructure, and strengthening tribal economic development. This is a statement by Grand Chief Ron Evans of the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs. I encourage all Indigenous people, governments, and organizations, as well as our non-Indigenous counterparts, to constructively lobby the governments of Canada and the United States to sign the UN Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. As the world recognizes International Day of World Indigenous Peoples, it is very important for Canada and its citizens to support the right of Indigenous people right here in North America. Signing the UN Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, honoring treaty rights, supporting education, health, housing, and developing real economic opportunities in partnership with First Nations are the priorities. We have been patient for too long. The time is now for Canada to sign the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and to deal with First Nations honorably. We are deeply grateful for the support of the UN Human Rights Council, which adopted the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples on June of 2006, and the nearly 150 nations that voted in favor of it. And the International Day of World Indigenous Peoples was on August 9th. Just in case you didn't know that, you can get more information at manitobachiefs.com. Indian Summer Festival, North America's largest American Indian festival, opens Friday, September 10th and runs through the 12th with the theme Honoring Our Warriors. And the warriors, first responders, active and retired military personnel, and veterans will all be honored in recognition of the 8th anniversary of 9/11, which falls during the 24th Annual Indian Summer Festival. Some of the events coming up next month include the presence of TV movie actress Irene Bedard, most famous for her role as the voice and likeness of Disney's Pocahontas, who will perform and MC the Indian Summer Music Awards, along with Moses Brings Plenty, formerly of the band Brûlé. Free pedometers to the first 1,000 paid admissions each day of the festival are going to be offered. So while you take a stroll on Indian Summer's new wellness trail, you can find out how far you're going. That is sponsored by the Gerald L. Ignace Indian Health Center. And to commemorate 9/11, Indian Summer has commissioned a special honor song written for first responders. It will be performed for the first time on Saturday evening by members of the Ho-Chunk Nation. Nearly 2 decades after the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, or NAGPRA, was passed, federal auditors say the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the U.S. Forest Service, the National Park Service, and other key federal agencies that all have significant collections of Native American remains and cultural objects have not fully complied with NAGPRA. The results of the Governmental Accountability Office GAO report, Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. After almost 20 years, key federal agencies still have not fully complied with the act. That's the title of that report. Will be discussed at the 12th annual meeting of the National Association of Tribal Historic Preservation Officers, or NAGPRA as they're known as, hosted by the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin. That's August 9th through the 13th in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So it's happening right now. If you want to go up there to the Casino Convention Center and take that in, or make your own mini report. A telecommunications company created by the Standing Rock Sioux has tribal officials hopeful that it will enhance education on the reservation and give the local economy a shot in the arm. Standing Rock Telecommunications is the first tribally owned telecommunications company in the nation that offers cellular phone and wireless broadband service. Beginning with an $11 million investment in 2007, it has put up 18 towers within the reservation that straddles the North and South Dakota borders and secured locations for 2 branch stores and a headquarters. SRT General Manager Miles McAllister said the tribe saw a connection between prospering communities and wireless access. With the average income of residents on the reservation at $10,000, he hopes the company can provide new opportunities even as that income level becomes a hurdle to creating a sustainable business for many tribal members. Commercial fishermen and tribes are condemning a bill they say will cripple the authority of a federal agency to protect the environment near a huge copper and gold mine proposed for southwest Alaska. At issue is Section 404 of the Federal Clean Water Act, under which the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers dispenses permits for disposing of dredged materials, including those from mining. The law allows the Environmental Protection Agency to veto those permits if it believes they will result in an unacceptable adverse impact to fisheries, wildlife, shellfish beds, recreational areas, or municipal water supplies. The Pebble Mine is a controversial project because of its location near some of the world's best wild salmon streams. The mine near Bristol Bay, Alaska, is being readied for permitting next year. Representative Don Young's bill will essentially remove the EPA's authority to veto or restrict Pebble's development permits. The Confederated Tribes of the Warm Springs cleared a key hurdle in its decade-long effort to build an off-reservation casino in the scenic Columbia River Gorge. The Federal Bureau of Indian Affairs released its final environmental impact statement August 6, identifying an industrial park in the gorge town of Cascade Locks as its preferred site for the casino. The agency, which examined 5 possible alternatives, said a Cascade Locks casino would bring needed money to the tribes while not doing any long-term harm to air quality or salmon habitat. It is one of 5 gaming-related environmental impact statements published in the August 6th issue of the Federal Register. 3 dealt with California tribes, and the 4th involved the Seminole Tribe of Florida. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to say miigwech for showing up here and watching us. Come back again soon.